Okay. Okay, también me habló, habló alguien que sí, porque dice que ya son 2 semanas que quieren una información y no se la han dado. No sé si parte de su trabajo.
I actually thought about that too. I was here way early.
How far is the drive for you? You came from Frederick?
No, I came from Alexandria. I was on at this point.
Sí, okay.
Thank you.
No, I usually like drive around, so.
Sí, llame con Diego para que yo pueda traducir. Okay. No, a las 6.
A lot of housing growth.
Sí,
Usually
correcto.
most affordable places by Rancho.
Okay, nos vemos. Bye.
Well, except for like Clear Spring.
I'm gonna get Chick-fil-A next time you're still gonna complain.
Get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I'm excited. So pray for us.
Wait,
I'm
you
gonna
did it.
put you original.
Like the nuggets though. Like the nuggets.
Yeah.
Great.
What, taco spot? Taco Bamba?
Todo eso. Todo eso. That's it.
Last time it was so good. This time. What?
How are you? I'm good. Did she help you with your work? Coffee, did you do a lot of work today? No. She's like, I chilled.
Right.
If it extends, we'll see. We'll just kind of pause everything on her for a moment.
That's a good one. How do you, did you talk to her about that?
No. I just would because. What's that? Sure, yes.
I have to leave at like 3:30. Sorrel, but we'll talk.
Wow.
Wow. I have McDonald's for breakfast.
Yes.
Wow, right now. Wow.
Somebody's doing so easy, this you want to say hello to me. How are you?
Good, you were eating.
I know. So did you not see this picture that I posted with Eric and I a couple days ago? No, look at the height difference, Grace.
No, you're good there.
I'm so excited. I feel really good about that space.
Do you want anything you want to say, brother, before?
I look like a Polly
I thought it was
Pocket.
fair, man.
Okay. Can you give me some?
Literally, no, it's like even trying.
Keep that on. Okay. Okay. I'll just make this one for me.
Also, some people are logging in.
Yeah, my whole team is finished over.
Okay. Let me grab something to eat. I'm starving. So you're doing the YouTube live, bro? Okay. Oh, you're hearing everything I'm saying. I'm like, what the hell?
Hi, Alex. How are you?
You're looking sharp. Looking good. Pizza, you guys are killing me, man. I like it. I like it. I'm about to break that diet. So mute it. I mute it. Yeah, mute it for now. It's mute. All right, guys. Hi. All right, let's get started, guys. As you guys know, I like to start everything with a prayer, putting God first. I don't mean to impose on anyone praying, so if you guys don't want to pray, I'm cool with it. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm good. I'm just so excited about everything that is happening. I think that there is a lot of movement, a lot of pieces moving. We're excited about Frederick, of course. Like that's been the highlight of the last couple of weeks, and we got some exciting things happening. And it's just I'm very if I was talking with Sammy the other day, I'm like the gas, right? Like I'm always go, and trying to, go to the next one. But I think that we are blessed to have everyone here. And I think that, it's just a collaboration of efforts, personalities, and everything. And that's what makes us who we are as a whole. And I think it's important that we understand that we all are very different. And how do we actually get to learn from each other? How do we actually get to interact with each other so that we can have a good, successful team? If we were all very just the same, I think it would be pretty, sad, I would say. Just because then you won't have that hyperactive. I'm super hyper, and then there's some others who are not as hyper, and it just brings the balance in anything in relationships. And you end up realizing that a lot of times when you're in a relationship, you end up attracting your opposite because that's your perfect balance. And that's just the way it works, right? And you're like, wow, how come I'm not like with someone like it's like me? You realize that doesn't work. Opposites attract, and there's a reason why. Iron sharpens iron, and to me, it's we're all learning to cope with one another, and I don't anticipate us not having any bumps in the road because that's just by nature what's going to happen. It's just how you deal with those bumps in the road, and how do you actually understand that you need to vocalize any concerns that you have so that we can make it better. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. We're far from being perfect. Can we actually try to make it better? Yes, absolutely. And we don't ever want to be in a place where we're not humble enough to acknowledge that there is a room for growth. That's a dangerous place to be, where you are complacent, where you feel like there is no room for growth. That, to me, it's a scary place, and I never want to be there. So if I can ask you guys to just close your eyes, for those who want to close your eyes, whatever you want to do, so we'll just give this to God. Heavenly Father, we just want to ask you, God, that you be here in our meeting. Give us of your guidance, and let this be a very productive meeting, and a meeting where you're giving us your wisdom, you're giving us of your insight on what's to come. I understand that there's a lot of speculations on what's going to happen with the market, but we do know for a fact that you are our provider, and you are the source of you're the giver of life, and we trust you, God, on everything we're going to go through, and we know for a fact that you will be with us in everything we go through. So I just wanted to put everything in your hands. In your name we pray, God. Amen. All right, so back at you, Casey. So take it away, my brother.
Oh, did you? Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely, bro.
He's the gas, I'm the brakes. Right?
Literally.
I'm the yeah. We've got there should be a flyer, and for those of you who aren't here, it's we can have them available in the office. If you want to take a look, it's just talking about title. There's going to be a change. Sammy, do you?
So just a quick update, everybody. Your first sheet, not everybody is aware, but Covenant does provide a veteran discount for our VA veterans. But if your client is not necessarily doing VA loan, Covenant is not going to just know that information. So definitely make sure if your client is a veteran, they're eligible for this $300 discount. We'll go ahead and just pass that information along to Covenant. And then the second page you'll see is that their fees are changing effective Monday. Everybody should have received an email as of yesterday, but there's also a breakdown here. So just keeping that in mind, if you're having those conversations with your clients, you want to make sure you're referencing the right numbers going forward, okay? That is obviously everything moving forward, not current transactions.
So anything ratifying
After Monday.
after Monday? Okay, cool. Any questions on that? They're always increasing. What do we have next? So I don't have, unfortunately, our normal presentation thing. I'm not going to go into numbers too much today. I really want to see where we're at in the next 5 weeks. We're about on par with what we did last year, so that's good, right? We've definitely seen a decrease in offers submitted and how many purchases we have. That's just the name of the game, right? At this point last year, we were doing anywhere from 30 to 40 to, I think 1 week we did 50. Now we're down to 12 to 15 to 18. Luckily, you guys have stepped up the other side of that, which is listings. Our listings is up 30% than what they were last year this time. And that was a jump from the year before. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone here is involved in one way or another with a listing or about to be. So that's awesome, right? Like Alex says, we have to shift with how things are shifting, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the ARMS thing, which I'm gonna have to find a different lender to talk to about it, because Nate he wasn't saying the things I wanted him to say. So, but definitely want to look into that. If you weren't a part of the Tuesday meeting when Nate was talking about that, there is a shift. They are starting this. Inman just did an article about, for those of you who weren't there, Inman just did an article about they're starting to see an increase in 10-year ARMs. It's a potential way, especially when you're talking about in the last 3 to 6 months, interest rates have jumped up 2%. So if you can bring someone you've been working with in January or December, they're not anywhere near what their buying power was back then. So any way to quote unquote game the system, right? And we do have a game for the next 5 weeks. I've sent that out to Frederick as well. So most ratifications we've got at this point in time, Aziz and Danny since Tuesday with the ratifications. We have, speaking of Aziz, we were able to convince him to leave his real estate photography gig that he was doing part-time and to come do that for us. So we will have an in-house photographer who also knows how to do floor plans, which is huge. Yeah.
And I think that it's not only photography. I think he's also able to handle videography. I know that we're getting key to do a lot more videos with all of our listings. And I kind of start putting you guys out there that we're doing a video on this. It's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we're doing a video on this. And I think that everybody should start getting very more you do it, the better you get at it. But just to put that out there, like it much better than just having a static picture, like a nice video of the property. Paul, you did a great job on the video that was released with you, Mimi, and our Potomac listing. And I kind of want to make that the standard. And now that we have Aziz and we have Paul, I think that there's enough manpower or workforce, if you would. We are going to come up with something very organized so that it doesn't come to a situation where like everybody wants a video at the same time. So there has to be some structure around that. But you guys are going to have the ability to have access to them so that you can do your videos, and obviously it'll be super legit, right? So, and of course, I don't mind, you guys doing as many videos as you can, because that's going to generate some business for everybody, for you guys and the whole brokerage and the whole company. So we are, encouraging you, every single one of you, to do videos as well. I know Edwin, you've done some funny videos as well and so forth, but having that professional help is going to give it an edge.
Absolutely. And any way that you're increasing or building your brand is a reflection of our brand as a whole, right? We're most likely going to have a Google form that you could fill out for a potential request to have Aziz or Paul or some type of social media that you want filmed in any way. By all means, that doesn't mean just go straight to Paul or Aziz, right? Because there's a process, and I promise you, I got Paul working on 20 different other things. So we'll have a Google form that you could fill out and then make sure we have it on the calendar and we can square it away. Okay. We also upcoming have the grand opening. We should have invites this either end of tonight. They're going to start going out, or tomorrow. I've got almost, for those of you who sent, unless you sent, I don't think you sent it to me. Did you?
I had a Google form.
For Narit?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think I need your email addresses. Okay. So I can get those out tonight, tomorrow, because we're less than 3 weeks away.
Yeah, I think we're taking, I'll say about 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks. 6:30 to 9:30.
No, so it starts at 7. You can tell youth people at 6:30, but it starts at 7.
7 to 10.
7 to 10. So we'll tell people 6:30 so that we can get started at 7. So
Tell you.
2 hours ahead of time. When we show up,
Yeah.
the thing is gonna go on for until 10, so it just doesn't matter. But it's gonna. And I want to listen. I want to put it out there. We are spending a good amount of funds there on that big event, so it's gonna be lit. So we're gonna have a lot of people from different places, from different offices. We got people from Canada traveling over to DC. We got people from different places. California. The office is Scottsdale. We have people from all over. Turk and Caicos people are coming as well. So there's going to be.
That's one thing from the forum that Alex has definitely increased his social presence within the agency itself. Obviously, Narit's a social butterfly, so we will most likely have a decent amount of like high-end managing partners at this thing.
we know, dress code out? Is there a specific dress code, or just business casual, very casual?
I don't. It's.
I didn't think it was black.
So here's the thing, right? So we're gonna have a red, like it's gonna be fancy for sure, right? So people were saying we don't want to require a black tie because then people are not likely to come, because then they have to like super like get ready, go home and like
Bespoke.
Yeah, so we want to make sure it's just cocktail attire. Business, some sort of, you look good, but you don't have to be all fancy, so that we can have more, people attending to the event. It will deter some people from coming if it was a black tie event.
Okay. Awesome. Business casual.
Yeah.
Maybe a step above business casual. I don't know what you call that.
Cocktail.
Is it cocktail? Business casual cocktail, black tie?
Yeah.
So somewhere below black tie, somewhere
And
maybe
then
just a
something
little.
else I want to say is this: we have our Frederick office opening up. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make a big announcement on the Frederick, and they still know it's coming. But the reason why, and I explained this to you guys, we want to make sure that we have a lot of PR coverage. Our launch date for Frederick is in June, but Inman, it's very particular about them being the first ones to actually release it or like get the news out. And then if we start putting this everywhere, and then Inman gets their hands on something that we posted, they're gonna be like, no, the cat, it's out of the bag. We're not gonna put it on our Inman news as a new office opening up for the agency. So we want to make sure that we're keeping things. And I was so excited trying to make a lot of noise with that, and with both of us, right? Yeah, so we need to hash it a little bit, just because we want to make sure that we have the proper PR coverage once we actually are launching our office, and we have our Frederick office website on our under the agency website.
They
So
delete the post, Jesus.
come on, brother. Come on. No, but I just want to put that out there because it's not that we're not excited. We're super ecstatic about Frederick, but we want to cool it for a little bit until it's the right time. Mm-hmm. So I hope that the people from Frederick know that this is coming from a good place, and we love them, but we need to just let's not make that much noise.
Yeah, that's a corporate kind of.
Yeah. So
That's not a us thing. But I'm trying to find. We also are going to have Roses is going to show up.
Yep.
And there's going to be. Chamo. We have a lot of. I'm trying to find it right now. I think Washington Post is going to have representatives there. It's going to be a big deal. I was trying to find who all was going to be there.
So I tell you,
She just sent it.
Any local celebrity?
Any of the Wizards players?
Yeah, we got Harry Potter coming through.
Jesus.
so I'll tell you.
Why are you doing me like that?
Stupid.
Oh, what's his face?
Ramen.
Ramen, is that his last
That
name?
would be
The opening DJ.
Roses and I don't know how to say that. Roses with a Z. With a Z.
Yeah.
They're with Chainsmokers.
Guys, Julia's actually gonna be the third big farmer.
Oh, yeah. But anyways, so grand openings the 18th. Invitations are to come. We do have a lot of.
So we have just to recap, okay? So Washington Post is going to be our launch party. Luxury, I guess the DC Magazine is also going to be covering our event. We have the Potomac Lifestyle Magazine, who's going to be covering our event. Potomac Neighbors Magazine, the North Bethesda Magazine, the Moco Show is going to be there. The American Dream, actually a TV actually they're going to be covering that as well. And then Luxury Listings. I don't know, Jules, you met the people from Luxury Listings, right? All those people are coming down to our lunch as well. Matthew and everybody. So, and they have a lot of followers on social media. So make sure you guys are taking pictures with them and tagging them and so forth. So suddenly you're gonna start getting a lot more followers just organically, just because the amount of followers. I think that they have up to like what 2 million, 4 million, 3 million. Yeah.
I'm just under 4.
You're just under 4. Okay, you're almost there then. All right.
We also do have something pretty exciting. Alex and I have been probably talking for a while. Bethesda is actually approved the Alex Group to get Zillow Flex.
Mm-hmm. So I
That's
guess
a
more
big
of
deal.
anything, we've been a little reluctant on Siloflex because we wanted to kind of see it. We always been bigger on Silo than Nurit was ever on Silo, and we wanted to make sure it was good. And I think that we have seen the difference between Siloflex and Silo, PA, what they call Premier Agent, right? So we're being promised a lot of good connections, a lot of good zip codes. So I put it out there. I need a lot of people to be a Virginia license as well, because there's some higher end zip codes that we are going to be getting some good leads. So for those who are in the works of getting their Virginia license, we're talking about Arlington, we're talking about good zip codes that have very high price points, and we want to make sure that everybody who is a Virginia license will be able to participate on the zip codes.
Yeah, get
Oh,
your
well.
Virginia license ASAP if you're trying to get in there, because it's like 3 different Arlington zip codes. I think there's
Take a class or it's just a test?
So you
It's like any, it's just like any.
you apply by
Or it's like any other
reciprocity.
state,
It's just
yeah.
about paperwork that you have to kind of gather and get, and then you end up having to pass your exam. At the time I got my Virginia license, I didn't have to take a test until a year after I got it. But I don't know if that's still a thing. That was about come on, dude, 30 years ago now.
20 years ago.
I'm not that old, so yeah. But just Mimi knows how to go about it
I'm
because she.
doing the opposite right now, though. I'm going Virginia to Maryland, and so I know there's a few steps, but there's like paperwork involved that takes a little bit of time. So if you're gonna do it, I would.
and Virginia is, sorry to cut you off. Virginia's backed up.
They are backed up. My license
Well, all of
is
them
late.
are. DC's, I think, the worst.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with Virginia is that you have to be approved by them. So you first have to submit, before you even apply or go to the PSI, you have to submit your application, send it to them, and it takes about 6 weeks for them to reply to you. You cannot email the form, you can only fax it or mail it out. So it's not email, so you have to make sure that if you do get it, you fill it out correctly, you fax it over to them, and just pray to God that really someone will get a hold of it. Even if you call them, no one will be able to answer. And finally, you will get an email saying, congratulations, you have been approved to now take your PSI exam.
Yep.
So if you want to do it, I'll suggest just go ahead and apply for it and then just wait. I just got the approval like 2 weeks ago.
Did they still make you get a letter from the state of Maryland
Yep.
saying you're in good
That's
standing?
after you pass the exam. Yeah, so once you pass the PSI exam, then it goes to the following step, which is getting your either your most recent transition. I'm sorry, I apologize. That's portion of the submitting the application. So before you even get approved to take the PSI exam, they're gonna ask you to send them your most recent in good standing letter from whichever state. So in my case, my most recent license I got was DC. So I had to send them the most recent DC letter of good standing. So I sent that to them along with the application with my license ID number, and I fax it to them. I have everything that I sent to them, and I can show it to whoever wants it.
Do you also get fingerprinted in
After that's after
Passing.
you pass the exam, then they tell you go get fingerprinted, and then they do a background check.
Mhm.
And then after that, after another 6 weeks to 8 weeks, then you get your license. But they're going to give you a temporary or a temp license so that you can start working with Virginia folks in the meantime that you're getting. I haven't gotten my actual DC license yet, and I've gotten that like 8 months ago. But I have my provision license that I'm allowed to, but I still have not received my DC license yet, which it would be the same case for Virginia. So if you want to get it, you have to do that contract, like the application, as soon as possible.
Get it 2 weeks ago.
Do you guys have any questions? That obviously there's people who've done it. Obviously, the Grace is now handling everything as far as licensing and everything, with the assistance of Sammy, because she's the expert when it comes to application and submitting applications and everything. But you can always schedule an appointment with Grace and kind of go through the whole process. But I highly encourage you guys apply for it. We are also in the process of finalizing our West Virginia license as a broker. I already have my schedule. I'm scheduled to be, I guess, final step. I think it's next Friday and then we'll be officially a West Virginia brokerage.
And we have an agent, by the way, don't mean to cut you off, but we have an agent that lives in West Virginia. So if you guys have someone that wants to move that way, a lot of people from this area are starting to move towards Frederick, towards West Virginia for pricing reasons. We can take care of that if you don't want to drive all the way up there.
It's Connect, right?
Connect, yep.
Yeah,
And I'm
so
getting mine too. I'm taking my test today, actually.
cool.
Good luck.
I love it.
Are we working on getting ZillowFlex for DC as well?
Yes, I think we
We are getting some Siloflex in the DC, but we will be getting on the zip codes.
yeah, I think we have one or two zips. I have to double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that you guys are licensed in all 3 jurisdictions. And if you really want to get out there, get your West Virginia license, because I'm going to be fully licensed as a broker in West Virginia as well. But if you don't feel like driving, we got Kenneth and we got Brandy, who they're happy to take on any leads that you might have. We got also some agents working on some relocation.
Oh yeah, I think. Are you?
Have the agency who
You're
has
part of
signed up a couple of people who work through a relocation company. They have some credentials. So if you haven't been approached, it's because you might be a new agent and you don't have the tenureship or the years in the business for it. As you have those years, you're going to be, incorporated into those programs, because they do require like a 5-year minimum. Some of them are that you have been licensed for at least 5 years. And so different companies have different requirements, but I just want to put it out there. Don't get in your feelings if you hear, oh, I got a real deal, then this is cool. And you're like, how come I'm not getting those deals? It's nothing to do with you personally. It's just you probably didn't meet the criteria. That's what the reason why you were not approached to participate on those leads. But we have, I believe, about 3-4 companies now that we're affiliated with that are, and then we have Joy, who is, and I'll say it out loud, who is going to be tapping into the deaf community. There's a lot of actual referrals that are coming from the agency corporate on, that do need someone who is able to communicate with them through sign language and so forth. So big shout out to Joy, because she's our first, I guess this is a niche, right? That she's going to be tapping into, and she's already got people lining up to work with her because of her ability to do sign language. Mm-hmm.
Huge, yeah. So we've had 3 different referral programs from agency corporate that they've reached out to us. There are some parameters. I mean, the biggest one is years of experience. So that's, if we haven't reached out to everyone, just because you have to have a minimum of years and be in that field and whatnot. So the main difference between Zillow Flex and Zillow Premier, Aziz, is Premier is you're just paying marketing dollars on a monthly basis, right? So we were paying pretty significant amount of money, and we've been monitoring it. And so Flex is a new program where you're paying a referral fee at close. So it's a little different, but we've started to notice a trend. Narit has been in it for almost about a year now. So we've gotten to see both sides of it, and there's definitely a clear shift. I know that on our side, the Premier side, the quality of leads that we've gotten sometimes aren't that great. And also our lead count has gone down as well. We've monitored that. So we have enough pool in this area to be able to join the Flex program. And it's going to be straight connections. It's not going to be the nurture leads anymore, where you just randomly get those in your chime. The approach is also slightly different. It's going to be a transition. It's going to be a different way to handle them, in the sense that you're going to be operating mainly out of the Zillow Flex app. So instead of updating Chime or anything like that, you're going to have to, they monitor it pretty stupid. They monitor it pretty closely. And so if you're not updating, and you only had to answer to me before, like if you weren't updating your Chime, right? If you weren't making your calls or you weren't putting notes in, I would come and be like, hey, what's going on? And it's like a slap on the wrist, right? You're going to have to do that on Zillow. And if you're not doing that, Zillow's going to tell me, hey, you have to pause them, or you can get booted. Your answer rate's a significant factor. And then also they're going to be guaranteeing us a minimum of 130 to 150 connections.
156 connections. is what it says.
156 connections on a 30-day revolving 30-day span. Our last 30 days on Premier Agent, as of right now, we got 66.
So we're about to triple our connections. We're going
That's
to be
huge.
monitoring, your answering rate, absolutely, and we want to keep people to at around 10 to 15 leads a month, because we don't want people to just be picking on those leads and not working them, because they're overwhelmed with how many people they have. So we just want to make sure that that's very clear. I want to reiterate something, and it's important because we've been exposed to it already. You cannot, by no means, present, let's say you get in contact, somebody reaches out to you through Flex, and now they end up not transacting with you, and then 6-8 months from now, they end up coming to you and they're like, we want to buy. At that time, you rejected the lead on the Zillow app. You can't say now it's my client because they ended up buying and then not push it through Zillow Flex and not pay their referral, because they track that, and we don't ever want to lose the relationship that we have with Zillow Group. So just want to put it out there, whether they buy or sell.
I think they said up to 2 years.
So I think
They're going to do an onboarding process, so
they're gonna do an
they'll make
onboarding
sure.
process with us, and I am also going to have a policy across the office where all of us as agents acknowledge this is what we're committing ourselves to, because we don't want to ever risk losing a relationship with them, because maybe an oversight. So sometimes oversights happen. So I want everybody to know that if you're participating with it, your business is you're gonna end up closing a lot more deals, but at the same time, we have to make sure we're paying them what's due to them. So, be it, right?
Yeah, but that also goes into one other thing I wanted to talk about. We had the book club last year where we did fanatical prospecting, which I've talked to Sarah, and it sounds like Frederick's about to start their book club about fanatical prospecting. I want to maybe just have an open roundtable discussion about prospecting, and if anyone, what you guys specifically do outside of either your sphere of influence or anything pertaining to this brokerage, right? Is there anything someone's doing outside of that sphere? Because I guess my example would be Alex, and it's almost annoying anytime you go out with this man. He's trying to hire you or trying to sell you or help you buy a house, no matter where you're at. But fanatical prospecting, and if you don't have it, all of you should, most of you should. I can get copies for those of you who don't. It's something, we don't want to always rely on Zillow, and especially you, right? Because at the end of the day, this is you are your business. I would love if we didn't have to deal with Zillow at all. But I wanted to see if there was any ideas or if anyone had an example of them prospecting in any way, or is it just sphere of influence or?
Like having your first watch Fridays.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too.
so there's one thing I did, but this is just because I have connections in banking. So what I do is I try to, and I try to do this periodically, at least once or twice a month. I have branch managers that I know, and I take them donuts to the team before they open their branches, just for the huddle. Say I'll just bring in breakfast and I put some business cards there. They're not supposed to more so solicit business for myself, but because people go there, and it's the branch I used to manage, Aspen Hill. And the one in Gaithersburg, because I know their branch managers there, I just go there and grab some cars. I've gotten 2 clients that on the side, obviously they send them over to me. And then I tried every Friday. Now I switched it to Saturday. I go to First Watch and I sit on the middle table that you don't have to ask for. You don't have to wait for someone to sit you, because that's like sitting at the bar. And this little thing here, that's why it fits that I'm not touching it or messing it up, because the last 2 Saturdays ago, there was a couple that they looked at it and we just started talking about it, and I nothing came out of it, but we started just kind of chatting, and what do you do when I do this, We just kind of started talking like that, and I give them my business card. Nothing came from that, but it's again something that I noticed that there is a pattern of that.
It's a thing that you're doing intentionally
Sure, absolutely. of course, yeah.
to find business
again, I
outside of.
go, it's not even, I just, I'm not eating like a pig anymore like before, but I just go there and get coffee and something small. And I just stay there literally for about 2 to sometimes 3 hours, just doing stuff, calling clients, and I'm just there. And they know it's everybody like, yo, where are you at? I'm there, just, just 2 hours ago.
So think about it, right? Is anyone else?
You mentioned to us too, similarly to what you do at First Watch, he's like, go to your local Starbucks and just do your phone calls there, and people are gonna hear you making real estate phone calls. Like, I was thinking that you wanna probably make phone calls strategically there, not the ones where you're gonna maybe
Actually,
yell at and hang up on.
and I think that Julia, she's not here, but I remember she shared something with me very interesting, and it was a listing that she had in Baltimore. I know that she had a listing there one time. She went for an open house, and it was so far, so she just sat at the bar and with her iPad open, and that's how she got one listing. Remember that she went in was for like 8 something. I don't know what happened, but she was just sitting down there, and the guy just started talking. Oh, what are you doing? And it's again, it's like that as well. Like I went to Jesus, now I remember the backyard. What's it called?
Yard house.
The yard house. In an afternoon, I just opened my iPad. Same thing. So that I noticed that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back to before, this whole social media and as you guys know, I'm old, as they were saying. I've been around the block for a bit. That's how it used to be, right? I will, spend time at the mall, any areas where there's a lot of people, and I'm a talker, so I can talk and like just go like meet people, and then as you are, creating that consistency, people just remember you. Well, I don't know if you guys went to the listing this morning at 11 o'clock with.
Saturday.
Oh, you guys pushed it to Saturday? So literally, I went out to have lunch with Canelo, and then I went to have lunch with. I'm a very I kind of repeat things. Like once I take something, I kind of repeat it and repeat it, and I don't ever get old. Like it doesn't get old for me. So ended up getting a listing yesterday that we have on Saturday, just because I've been there so many times. Then the people just approach me. It's like, okay, I know you do real estate. There's a house here, and it's just like that. But don't be so do it like genuinely. Like just go there, like get a cup of coffee or do something. Just get out there, man. Just go meet people. Then you'll end up.
Another thing
Yeah,
Alex
the results.
does is while we're at the gym, he's literally trying to talk to somebody, and so he's literally trying to get something at the gym, right? I hate it, but it's there, right? Another thing is like when we go to Starbucks every day, like Starbucks or like Dunkin' Donuts, they always ask you like, why do you dress like that, right? Make sure that you're presentable, because they ask me like, what do you do? Like I sell real estate, right? It's not like, oh, here, let me sell you a house. No, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and I'm gonna tell you that, I'm gonna dress the same, and we're just gonna keep talking. And now, like the people at Starbucks, they're just like, hey, how's the real estate market? Like all the time. Just have a natural conversation with them. And this one dude, he owns a house there. Like you never think that someone at Starbucks owns a house, right? But you don't know until you find out, right? No offense, right? But you don't, right? We talk about other things as well too, right? We talk about gaming and stuff like that. So it's not only strictly about real estate, just building that relationship with them, that when it is time to sell or when it is time to buy, it's like, oh, I know Brian does real estate, so next time he comes into Starbucks, I'm going to tell him.
I'm gonna tell you something a little it's funny, like funny, and so you can never judge a book by its cover, right? I have one of my, best clients, and he became a developer. You ever been to Benny Hannon? I'm sure you have, right? The guy who was cooking and making the noise and we're making the little volcano with on the you've been to Benny Hannon, right? I mean, people think that these people don't, they're making what the race at the time was $7 an hour. Guy, owns, when I met him, he had 6 houses that they were paid for. And then I said, listen, what are you doing here, brother? Like, no, I've been here for a while, and I just bought all these houses through the years, and I rented them out, and then now they're paid for. He's worked there for 40 years. I said, listen, you have to retire. So I started helping him out. He quit his job, and then he kind of sold one house, had cash, and then started buying a house and flipped the first one, and then he started doing that, and he's changed his life, and you can't just judge someone just because they're here. So you never know. So just want to put that out there.
It's just finding ways to grow yourself, your brand, and your business, right? Because Zillow's not always going to be around. And if you're not near Alex as close as possible when he gets something he can't handle and he's got to hand it off, you know what I'm saying? That was my favorite thing to do. I never got any leads from him, but I always tried to stay late when everyone else was gone, thinking he'd throw me a bone, but I never got a bone. But it's worked for other people. But you do have to. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. What?
So since the weather's getting nicer and people seem to think that COVID is lifting a little bit, we started door knocking again. We're really big on door knocking. But it's not just like randomly going around and knocking on random doors one time and never following up. If you're going to do anything to get business, you have to do it like times 5 or times 10 with an actual plan that you're executing. So like the plan that Jenny and Fee are doing right now is stalking all of the listings that we have, looking for the ones in the higher dollar neighborhoods, and then we're door knocking those neighborhoods around the listings saying, hey, we have a listing in your neighborhood. There's bound to be multiple buyers. Anyone you know, your neighbor's thinking of selling. If not, no, cool, here's my card. We're also asking them if they're interested in having an event in their neighborhood. We did an event in my neighborhood, or one of my neighborhoods last year. It was like $500 for a Kona ice truck, the flavored ice thing.
Yeah.
He came out for a whole day. I pulled my Jeep up on the hill and started blasting music, and the neighborhood came out, and we got a relationship with Fort Detrick, and now we're sponsoring events on base for Fort Detrick. $500, and we met like all these people. So, we're door knocking the neighborhoods, asking those things, and then also leaving the information, but then following up with a phone call, because we have Vortex or RedX. We just use our subscription to get those phone numbers, call the same neighborhood. Hey, I stopped by your house. Sorry, I missed you. Did you get the thing I left for you? What did you think about that? Right. And just start building these relationships. We get it probably a listing every time we door knock, we get something out of it.
That's what I say.
But you have to follow up. You can't just do it and then go do something else. If you have too many disparaging parts of prospecting, it's like, it doesn't work. You have to put a lot of energy into 1, 2, or 3 things. Don't have like 10 methods of prospecting.
And find the one that works for you and be consistent with it, right?
The other thing that I think that I've lost opportunities on 3 occasions already is family member. My wife's 3 of her cousins in Virginia, they have moved to Maryland, and they've bought 3 times in Maryland. And I did not know anything about it. And then after that, I said, never again. So I told my mother-in-law just found me an appointment this last Saturday. One of her good childhood friend is fixing her home to sell it because they're moving to South Carolina. So I said, Abuelita, come on in. So I just met her this weekend, and she has an amazing house. And I talked to her actually today, and the property is valued over $600,000. And my mother-in-law just found that for me. She said, "No, don't come over here." And I was there, and she was there having coffee, and then I just went in there, just did my thing, and so that influence as well is huge. The friends, the family, the cousins, the sisters, and all of that.
Significant others family as well.
Yes,
That was my first one ever, but it helps a lot. And on top of that, just branching out to somebody else's family. I met so many family friends that are considering moving from New Jersey down to Maryland too. So I've been in contact with them.
Correct.
The other thing too, just to add on to what you guys are saying, is your friends and your family might know that you're a realtor deep down, but if you don't tell them that you want to be their realtor, like make it clear that you want to be their agent. And I'll tell you a really quick, very short story. the settlement that I had today is my best friend from high school. We were like locked at the hip since the 9th grade. I called her, and we've been talking about her buying a house for the last 3 years. Yeah, we'll do it. One time we'll get it, blah, 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 delay. I called her in March. It was the day after her birthday. I called her to wish her a happy belated birthday and felt bad. She said, yeah, it's no problem, blah, blah, blah. We start talking and going out and things. And she tells me that her husband's been out looking at houses. Now, I've had probably 20 real estate conversations with these people, but have I ever directly told her that I plan to be her agent? Okay, and so I was a little upset about that one because this hit close to home, but I told her, I said, listen, we've been talking about this a long time, and no one knows your needs more than I do. This particular person has physical disabilities that she needs very specific property, and the people that they were talking to weren't helping her. So immediately her husband decided to, okay, I'll listen to my wife and I'll meet with Brandy. The reason that I think he wasn't meeting with me up front is because he knows me from college. He knows Brandy. He doesn't know serious business Brandy, right? But after that first meeting, he realized, okay, you do know what you're doing. And they switched and started working with me, and they closed today on the perfect property for them. So had I not called her on her birthday, call your friends on their birthdays, and just started having a conversation, I would have never found that out, and they would probably still be looking. So make it known. Tell them, hey, man, I want to be your realtor. Whenever it's time for you to buy, I want to be your agent. And deep down, they'll remember that. And when it comes time to buy, they'll say, oh, yeah, Brandy said she wanted to be my agent. Let me go to her first. So don't be afraid to tell them, because just because you call up and say, yeah, I'm in real estate, if you don't say it and put it on the table, they might not ever
Be direct.
Does anyone ever encounter like wanting to say something to their family, but not knowing, like, does it, like if you're, working with family, right? Like, has anyone ever encountered, like I was the other day, my cousin was telling me he was looking for a house, and I wanted to offer to help without trying to like push myself on.
Just push yourself
Ask
on.
him what it would take for you to be his agent.
Okay.
Okay.
Direct.
Yeah, you're right, because I didn't say anything as direct as I could have, so, okay.
Because
Johnny B's dealing with
everybody
that right
knows
now,
a
aren't
billion
you?
realtors. There's 3 in my family, right? So just because they know you're a realtor, maybe their sister's a realtor, maybe their fiance's cousin's a realtor. You got to tell them that you want to be the first person.
Pull up Post Map and then just look at Alex's. Like, look, compare your realtor to Alex's house. I did it yesterday. I swear to God. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna work with you.
No, you're right.
Not mine. I'm just pull up Alex. Like 700 houses. Seriously, no. But and he does it all the time too. Like
Show the facts.
you want to compare this to this.
It's so funny you said that. Last time we were at
You did it right.
Dude, we were at the open house in Murfield, and there was this Asian couple there. And obviously they're talking very highly about it, this and that. And I said, look, we've done this. So I went on the read side and look, all these houses I have in the country. I said, look, I have all these houses in the country right now. Look, 900, 1.2 billion. So look, we can make it work. And I just cheated. She didn't even know, but she was like, oh, really, right? And I'm just there going like, yeah, I own half of Potomac. She don't care, bro. Dude, I was showing her stuff. So, right, and again, pulling all those numbers there. Yeah, so that's true. You gotta just do what you gotta do.
Figure out
Sometimes
whatever
they'll
it
say
is.
no. I have friends that always, like, I was at a birthday party last weekend, and one guy was like, oh, you guys are gonna buy soon, like, you gotta talk to my realtor. And they were like, respectfully, we got one, we love her, she's great. And I was like, cool, man, as long as they treat you right and you're happy, that's all I care about. I don't need to have your business. I'm here for you, but I'm not gonna be a sleazy realtor and be like, no, work with me instead. Like, all I care about is that whoever they're talking to is good.
And always, the way you go about it, if they push back, I always tell them, listen, if there's any questions that you have, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions. If maybe you find yourself into like doubting a little bit of what they're saying, I either will confirm with you that that's in fact correct, or I will tell you, no, this is not right. No strings attached.
And if it doesn't work out with that realtor, which sometimes it doesn't, who do you think they're gonna call?
And if you're like Alex, you gotta get out of there.
Alex
With
is like
everything,
hiding
you'll be
in the
like,
bushes waiting
you'll be
for
like, hold on. Hey, so I have here such and so is gonna call you right now. Put it on group. Right there and there.
All right.
Whatever it is, be consistent and be
And I think that
intentional.
what Brandy took a good point, guys, and I want to make sure that we iterate on this. If you're gonna prospect, grab 2 things, 3 things that you're gonna do, and you're gonna do it consistently
At a high level.
at a high level. Don't grab a whole bunch of things that you want to do and you end up doing so many things that are not you're not being repetitive about it. So
Don't get caught up doing activities. Some people will get busy doing things like making flyers and like stuff that doesn't make you money, right? Make sure you don't fill your time with like busy work. Make sure you're being purposeful about it and that you know what you expect your outcome to be,
all right.
I think, and we have finally able to partner with the Chamber of Commerce of Bethesda. So we have a bunch of stuff coming up that we're going to try and have a presence there as well. Okay. We're definitely becoming more, I guess, social is what you would say. We are hosting, they're having a golf tournament this coming Monday, I believe. And get your lessons in for next year. We're hosting the longest drive hole there. So that should be fun. The goal is to eventually, for us, the agency DC Metro or the agency, this whole area, is to have our own golf outing. I think that would be amazing, and partner with Give Back Homes, or we're definitely going to be brand immersion, especially because people still don't know about the agency out here. Is huge for us, but they will know, especially in the next coming months.
Yeah, next coming months.
Yeah, I forget. There was one other thing, but I forget.
All right.
Oh, I finally just scrubbed through, thankfully. M and Mel and Iz helped me scrub through Alex's past clients from 2005 to 2017. There's still 900 people that are still living in the houses that Alex helped them buy. Okay. Now we're going to group them geographically, and we're going to actually start intentionally farming where we know the people that actually live there.
We will also have, and just be ready for that, we'll end up having door knocking events, if you would, based on zip codes or like areas.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be super intentional about, all swiped up with the agency, and it's like, oh, we happen to be in your neighborhood, and I realized that you bought through us. We're only going to be knocking at those doors that we are likely to sell, and the people that actually bought through us. So don't think that we're going to be, knocking at every single door in Germantown, right?
Yeah, I work with your realtor is a great opening.
Right.
Everybody remembers who their realtor was when they bought
Exactly. So we want to make sure that we are knocking at them, and then the other group is going to be the people who have enough equity and you are likely to have a meaningful conversation. You don't want to knock at someone's door. Oh, I just bought it last month, and it's like, okay. But we'll have those lists out and those events out. We want to make sure that everybody's engaged in those events. So if we're having those, right? So think about maybe 15 of us out there, and then we all can grab, 10 houses, 15 houses, 20 houses, and I promise you, there is something that is gonna come out of it. Okay?
Yeah, because I reached out to Oliver Brown. I was like, you got some good equity over there. A house literally two houses down sold for $100K over what we
What do you
bought.
pay?
That was lamp. That was Pineapple Lamp Boy. He's like, if I was smart, I'd sell. I was like, well, if you ever do sell, you better come right back here. So he's like, I will. So
All right.
all right.
Thank you,
That's
everybody.
it. Thank you, guys.
Next one we'll do, and I think the next production meeting I think that we might do it at my house. I don't know. I like to do it, and we'll end up having another yoga event for a class around the pool. So just get ready for it, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll miss you guys, but hope to see you guys soon. Now, just get ready for the 18th, okay? I want to see all of us there. Bye.